Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. We live in a day and age where people, they get into relationships quickly based on lust, based on opportunity, or whatever the motivations are. But sometimes we don't check under the hood to see what else is going on with someone karmically and astrologically speaking. When I speak of karma, I am not speaking of punishment. I am speaking of your soul residue energy, residual energy from past lives, your social, how you were socialized, meaning how you were raised, what you went through as a child, what you have gone through in your past relationships, what you are going through now, and what you will go through in your lifetime. So it is very important to have some sort of mission statement in each relationship, whether it be a friendship or whatever it is, to understand if you all are going in the same direction on the same ship. And in order to understand who you are riding with, metaphorically speaking and literally speaking, it is so good to know their rising sign, their sun sign, moon sign, all of this. All of this is very important. In ancient times, like even now, if you look at like Hindu astrologers, Vedic astrologers, before they arrange a marriage, they look at each person's birth chart, Rahu, Ketu, all of the other stations in the person's planetary makeup, in order to see if these people are going to even be compatible. And notice that in India, the divorce rate is not very high. Not saying that they all get along, but it's a way to where they're compatible enough to make it work, to keep the wheel turning, because it's easy to fall in lust and infatuation with someone, but it's more difficult to stay that way, and it is more difficult sometimes to continue liking that person. You can love a person, not necessarily get along with them or like them or enjoy their company. And then once the lust wears off, what is there left to talk about? When you see them with their makeup off, or when you see them, with their beer gut, or, bodily functions, whatever it is, you're going to want to like that person after all that is revealed, because how is the relationship going to last if you don't understand what you're dealing with? This is a very ancient practice of looking at people's numbers, their astrological synastry, and everything else. Because if you are looking at someone and you're judging whether you should do business with them, whether you all should be friends or anything else, based solely alone on their sun sign. Oh, I don't like you because you're a Gemini. I don't trust you because you're a Gemini. You must be mean because you're a Scorpio. You must be over the top because you're a Leo. If you're judging them by just their sun sign alone, then you are missing a whole book, okay? Because a rising sign, always say, it's like your book cover. That's how people judge you. That's your reputation. That is what you will be remembered for when you are an ancestor. When people speak of you, and what they remember the most about you, that will be often based on your rising sign. Say, for instance, people know Aretha Franklin as a singer, but they may not know other different things about her in her chart, because this is based on rising sign. Your sun sign is like the introduction of the book. I always say this in each video I do about astrology. And so you get past the introduction of the book, you go into the moon sign, which is their soul residual energy, how they relate to other women if they're a woman, are they a misogynist if they're a man, do they get along with women good, how did they get along with their mother, how did their mother treat them, how did they view their mother and their matriarchal ancestors, what kind of issues are lying in the matriarchal bloodline. This will reveal this in the moon sign. Mercury, their opinions, how they think, how they express themselves, how they communicate via writing, text, verbally, any type of communication, even body language, will be often based on their Mercury sign. Venus, how they express romantic love, the type of person they most likely would be attracted to if they're the masculine energy, the type of feminine energy that the masculine is attracted to. Going back into moon sign, this is also their emotional needs. This is the type of love language they have for their family, not their romantic love language such as gifts and words of affirmation, but how they need love from family, and how they express their love to their family, what makes them feel appreciated, what makes them feel included, what makes them feel fulfilled in a family environment, in a home life domestic environment. But I digress. Going back to Venus, this is romantic love. What is their love language? What do they expect for, special days? Do they expect gifts? Do they just expect just appreciation or compliments or acknowledgement? What is it that they like? This will also most often be revealed in their Venus sign. Mars sign, that's how they express anger, what motivates them. The moon can also deal with what motivates them as well on an emotional level, their drive. But Mars is also dealing with their aggression, how they assert themselves, what they are going for in life, what they do when they get out to bed in the morning, their MO, how they go about things. This is also a clue to the type of person that they will be sexually attracted to. When you look at their Mars sign, that will kind of describe to you what type of person they will be most likely to have a one-night stand with or do something in the heat of the moment on impulse. How would they act? Jupiter is their luck, their expansion, certain things like that. And let me say as well, this is not going to be like an astro nerd video of I can go into that. I'm not going to necessarily go too deep off into houses and deeper into synastry, how your house relates to their house. This is going to be an elementary level explanation so that anyone can understand. You could have your 6th grade child look at this video and they can understand it. So I'm going to speak in layman terms as much as possible. I'm not going to get into trine, sextile, and all squares, none of that stuff. We're going to keep it very basic so that you can understand. That way, if your relationship is in trouble with your mate or with your mother, your father, your sibling, you just can't get it together, before you go see a relationship counselor therapist, that's very important. It's still good to know this blueprint. So when you go in there and you speak to someone and you need some sort of third-party intervention to help save your relationship, your friendship, your marriage, whatever it is, your family ties, then understand this first. Because if you can understand this about this person and they're not abusing you, they're not coming off, I know this is the buzzword, they're not coming off as narcissistic or sociopathic, they're not demeaning you and it's worth saving, they're just not perfect and they see you as not being perfect either, then to know this and to walk into a relationship therapy session will be much more meaningful because you can go, oh, I know why he processes emotions like that. Because he had this type of relationship with his mom. Oh, I know why he was looking at that girl across the room too long, but he's not interested in a relationship with her, looking at his Mars sign. Or I know why she's acting like this when she's on her cycle. I know what she's been through. I know her insecurities. I understand her life path. Why does she deal with these type of people? And why does he need to do this? I need to do that. When you know this and you understand this, you will not take at least 70% of what the next person does as personal, because you will realize this is their imprint in this lifetime. This is their MO. Now, this is, when I say karmic energy, when a soul is born into a human body and we make it to this lower vibrational third dimension, our body is 3/4 water. And the planetary, the movements in the universe, the omniverse, in outer space, is affecting what's going on in our inner space. Since we are 3/4 water, it affects all of the water on earth. So we get this imprint at the time when we're born to kind of give us our stamp for this life, which can be as intricate as a fingerprint. That's why you can get somebody who's a sun sign Gemini and somebody else who's a sun sign Gemini, and maybe this Gemini has moon in Capricorn, this Gemini has moon in Scorpio, and they have a different life path number. This is why you cannot say all Geminis are the same, or all Sagittarius are the same, all Leos, Aries are the same. It's unfair to say that because you have a whole book here to read on somebody. Rising sign, sun sign, moon sign, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, Chiron, life path number, personality number, soul urge number, their monthly vibrational number, their north node, their personal year, and if you practice Ifa and Orisha faith, Odu. Odu is very important as well. Even their Asian sign is applicable. You don't have to be Chinese to look at Chinese astrology. It's very accurate. And even their elemental number, also looking at their culture and upbringing. All of this should be kept in mind before you either seal the deal on a relationship or before you decide to throw it in the trash. Because you could either be missing a good opportunity or dodging a bullet if you see that it's just not going to work, or you could be you don't want to squander an opportunity. You don't want to throw away something that's worth saving, is what I'm trying to say. And you don't want to get yourself into something knowing that this just isn't crossing. These lines aren't crossing good. It's not adding up. It's a lot of squares in your chart, meaning there's a lot of things where it will cause like you all to bump heads a lot, not see things the same. It will be difficult, kind of push-pull. When you see this and you know this before you even get all in your feelings, or even your passion about somebody, then you can avoid creating a soul tie with somebody that's just not going to be compatible with you. It's just not going to pan out the way you want to. Or you can say, oh, well, we have this working, so we can work through the kinks of life, the situations of life that come at us. We're able to navigate together because we're compatible. It's just like saying you would not take an Android accessories and pair it with an iPhone and vice versa. So what I'm saying is everything is, when you deal with alchemy and mixing things, mixing people, mixing energies, compatibility is very important. You can't look past that. And people say, well, with love we can conquer all. Love does not always conquer all. Sometimes it is what it is based on this blueprint, because if this person changes their basic blueprint or tries to pretend to be something they're not, or try to fit a square peg in a round hole to save a relationship, it's not going to be fulfilling. The passion is not going to flow. Somebody's going to feel like they're sacrificing, and they're going to eventually become resentful. They're not going to be happy with themselves because they're not being true to themselves. So how are they going to be happy with you? Because they're not following their blueprint of what they are. It's like trying to take a Chihuahua and have it go marry a Saint Bernard, and the Chihuahua is trying to act like a Saint Bernard, and the Saint Bernard is trying to act like a Chihuahua, and it's just not always to be attainable. Sometimes the relationship should only be platonic, like friendship, or let's work together, or let's come together on a temporary basis. You know, we have a soul contract to agree. Okay, we're gonna deal with each other this month. We're gonna learn this lesson, and boom, we're done. No hard feelings. Because when you understand this will allow you to forgive your mother if she has done anything harmful to you to a degree. Even if it's like so unforgivable, it will help you kind of understand, oh, okay, that's why she's like that. Or forgive your father for possibly abandoning you. Oh, okay, this is what he went through. He had this type of moon sign. And when you understand their numbers, their personality number, it allows you to be a little more, I don't want to say empathic, but more sympathetic. Not that you will feel sorry for them, but it will kind of give you, it is well with my soul, understanding to where you know, like, okay, now I understand. I can forgive them a little more. They can't help it. This is their makeup. So let's get into it. If you don't know already, my name is Adunola, Iya Adunola, Oshunfumike Omikimi. Welcome to my channel. If this is your first time, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. So, the first thing, in order to save a relationship, a marriage, family ties, even your relationship with your grandfather, whoever it is to, number one, know thyself. You know, it's such a cliche, love yourself, know thyself, snooze, snooze, snooze. But what does that really mean? First of all, know what you like, know what you don't like, and understand your own astrological blueprint. Now, this gets a little more difficult if you don't know the time of your birth and your time zone of birth. I don't like saying but it can also be difficult if possibly you were adopted and you don't know, you know, per se your birth name that your mother gave you or your parent gave you. It can sometimes kind of make things a little difficult, but with an expert astrologer, it can be figured out and done. They can kind of work backwards and figure out, get a calculation of, okay, you were born around this time period. Maybe you were born somewhere and you weren't born in a hospital. Maybe you were born in a foreign country and they didn't, you know, they didn't record, they didn't give you a birth certificate. So an astrologer can help work with you to kind of figure out what's your moon sign, what are your houses, because all of this is very important. It's like you are your own personal book. Everybody is a walking book. But I digress. Knowing these things will help you understand who you are, what type of people you would be attracted to that won't be good to you, and how to avoid them, what tendencies you have, your dark side, in order to kind of check that, your light side, whatever it is. This will help you balance yourself by knowing who you are. That way you can discriminate against what's not going to be compatible to your energy. So when you know this information, you will know how to set boundaries in your life. You will know what's good for you, who's good for you. You will know your seasons of your life, such as your pinnacle in numerology, what life phase you are in, because life always, your life purpose is seasonal. What you did when you were 15 is not, it may not be the same by the time you are 32. So everything shifts and changes, but I digress. Also, let me see what else I have on this note. It will help you overcome the feeling of being lost at sea in this life. I don't know what I should be doing. I don't know where I should go. What career should I do? If you know this, you're going to at least get clues, if nothing else, on which direction you should be going. Even if you feel doubtful, you can always go back. This is like your own personal Bible to kind of go back to, and I mean that metaphorically speaking. You can go back to your astrological birth chart, your natal chart and whatnot, and you can go, okay, these are my tendencies, and this will give me a clue which direction I should be in or which direction I should not be in. This will help you avoid bad company, avoid pitfalls, and also you will know when you, yes, okay. So when you know all of this, you will know who you can ride with in life and who is just not going to be good passengers on your personal ship in life. Number one, knowing yourself. Number two, in order to save a relationship, whether it be platonic, romantic, I have a text coming in, sorry about that. Know who they are. Number two, know who they are, whether it's your mother, your brother, your classmate, your best friend, lover, whoever it is. Know them, know their chart. Now, as soon as you meet somebody and you're going on a date, like I said in my video about your spirituality is no one's business, you don't want to attack them like, so what's your birthday? Or what's your chart? This and that. What's your ODU? You don't want to like be direct like that. You know, go out with them a little bit, feel it. Just, oh, what's your birthday season? You may ask them something like that and then kind of eventually get a clue. You know, maybe they'll talk about it, maybe they won't. Times are changing, so people are a little more open-minded. But once you have their birthday information, at least within the first 3 months of knowing a person or getting to re-know them again, then you can kind of go back and assess like, okay, ooh, this is going to be a potential pitfall. Not saying you should not deal with them, but you know how far to take it with them. Or this is going to be great. We're going to be really compatible in this area, that area, etc., etc. So just as it's good for you to know your rising, it's good to know the synastry between how their moon sign connects to your moon sign, or their moon sign to your Venus, their Mars to your Venus, whether you are feminine energy, masculine energy, the woman or the man in the relationship. Knowing all of this will get you going, so you know how far to go. Number three, let's see, I'm trying to work as concisely as possible. Once again, I reiterate, rising sign is how you are viewed and how they are viewed. This is like if you were a fly on the wall and you want to hear some information about yourself, what people are saying is usually going to be based on your rising sign, your ascendant, rather than anything else, unless they know you really personally and you've confided in them. So if you want to know about their reputation, how they come off, how people view them, rising sign first and foremost. Once again, what they will be remembered for. It can also deal with their facial features and physical appearance as well. Now, sun sign is their basic personality. It deals with clues on what type of relationship they had with their father, also in conjunction with Saturn and certain other houses. It can give you a clue of if they have daddy issues or if they have some kinks to work out with masculine energy. You can get a clue of that sometimes from their sun sign, but it gets more intricate than that because you have to start getting into houses and other synastry in their chart. Next up, moon sign, how they express emotions, what makes them feel appreciated, what fulfills them emotionally, how they deal with other women. Clue if they have issues with their mother. Clue if they're misogynist or not misogynist. Clue if maybe they let women run all over them. Maybe they're the opposite of a misogynist, kind of out of balance to where they become a doormat to feminine energy, etc., etc. This is also a clue to their spiritual gifts, their feminine side, what motivates them, their phobias, their worst fears, and their buried soul experiences. Once again, I'm working from notes so that I can remember everything that I wrote down. Their Mercury, opinions, thought processes, and how they communicate. It may be different than yours. It may be clashes somewhere. So if they communicate by kind of, you know, they just get quiet and they don't start talking about something, but you know that they're not pleased with something, then you won't be as quick to judge them or think they're acting funny if you know, okay, this person has Mercury in Capricorn, so that's why they're acting like that. Or they have Mercury in Scorpio, whereas you may have Mercury in Gemini, so you want to talk about it, you want to express yourself, you want to be verbal, this and that. So you'll understand the differences that way. And this is a sample chart that I made up that I'm going to go through in just a moment. Their, let's see what else we have. Their Venus, once again, romantic love. The type of woman or feminine energy they will be attracted to. Their love language. What they consider beautiful and pleasing. Next, their Mars sign. Once again, what makes them angry. How they handle anger. How they stand up for themselves. The type of person they would most likely cheat on you with. How they will most likely act in the heat of the moment when they're mad and provoked, and what triggers them. Let's see what else we have here. We have Jupiter, their luck. If it's a woman or feminine energy, this is like the luck where the sign that gives a clue of the type of husband she will have. So if her Jupiter is in Libra, if her husband's not a Libra, she could either get married during Libra season, which would be lucky and auspicious for her, or her husband will be somebody who has the characteristics of a Libra, which can be diplomatic, fair, attractive, easygoing, you know, that type of thing. Someone who will do right by her in general, for example. Then you have Saturn. This is their karmic soul lessons. This is the difficulties they have had to overcome in this life. This is what they were born to learn and what they were born to teach. Knowing this is very important because this will often be a painful area. This is where they usually have their ego death, is with their Saturn, especially when Saturn is in their sign or in any sign that's related to them, such as the cardinal signs, mutable signs, you know, mutable Gemini, Sagittarius, Pisces, and I'm missing one. But anyway, all of these clues will let you know what they're going through with Saturn. Neptune, their fantasies, how they deal with escapism, like how when they want to go off into their own world and they want to escape reality. Neptune will be a clue of how they deal with that. Pluto, get their closet, the things that they hold in the closet, the mysteries, how they deal with transformation. Uranus, that's their quirks, what makes them unique, when they act erratic or when they have epiphanies in their life. Chiron, also not only with Saturn, because Saturn usually is a temporary difficult lesson. Chiron is like a soul injury or an ego injury that the person has to deal with throughout their whole entire life, from birth till death. Knowing that is very important because it could be a permanent break on their heart that they have to work through. And not only do they have to, it's like their permanent injury in their life, which never heals in that lifetime, because they have that injury or that hump on their back, metaphorically speaking, in order to teach people how to deal with their own humps. So if their Chiron is in, let's say, if it's dealing with the 5th house, Leo energy, it could deal with their ego, it could deal with unrequited love. So now they're teaching other people how to deal with unrequited love. It could deal with some possible fertility issues, creativity issues, creative blocks. So they teach people how to overcome creative blocks. So knowing this will help you go, oh, okay, that's why they act like this. That's why they act standoffish or they back off, because maybe I said something to trigger them, either somewhere in their moon sign, Chiron, Mars, anything like that will help you understand why they are the way they are and why they do what they do. Also, clues to their trust issues in this life. Life path number. Life path number is like a layer of the sun sign. Also, the Chinese astrology sign, it's a layer to your Western astrology sun sign. So it's just an extra added bonus to what you have going on here. Their personality number, their day of birth. That tells you what kind of person they're like, the life path, what direction they're going in life. Their soul urge number, what really makes them happy, what do they strive for, what do they want more than anything in this world, what is their idea of heaven on earth. You need to know their soul number. Their monthly vibration, maybe they're being difficult this month, maybe they're being argumentative and they're acting out of character all of a sudden. Maybe it's not the retrograde, perhaps they're in a number 5 month, for example, or a number 9 month. So knowing this will go, oh, okay, they're going through this numerical energy this month. Okay, let me back off and let me have some compassion and understanding for what they're going through. Their north node is also a clue, just like their rising sign, to the direction that they should be going in their life. Going back to rising sign, to know the rising sign is also to know the descendant sign. That's like The rising sign is like their mask, whereas the descendant sign is like how they really are behind the mask. This is what they're striving, this is what they're hoping to be like, rather than what they really are. So also personal year, knowing the theme of the year, what they will be going through, kind of getting clues to that is very important as well. If you practice Ifa, just like I just said, knowing their Odu will give you clues to their destiny, their potential food taboos and general taboos, their potential fortune, their potential pitfalls, and things they should avoid, type of people they should avoid. Yes, sometimes it even gets down to avoid people with blue eyes, avoid people with brown eyes, dark eyes, whatever it is. Sometimes clues, you will get clues like this when you have an Odu, when you have gotten to that point, if you practice Orisha tradition, but I digress. Also, the Odu gives clues to the other Orishas that walk with them besides their guardian Orisha. It can also kind of give you hints of which Orishas and characteristics they will be dealing with throughout their lifetime. Upbringing, parent or guardian treatment. How were they treated? Were they abused? Were they neglected? Were they coddled? Were they overly mothered? Were they a mama's baby? Were they a daddy's girl? All of those clues are very important before you go see a relationship therapist. Did they move a lot? Were they abused? Once again, were they bullied? What were their insecurities as a child? What were they teased for? What are their moral values that they grew up, that were instilled in them when they were growing up? What type of culture did they grow up in? Did they grow up in the Islamic Eastern type of culture? Did they grow up kind of in a liberal, feminist movement sort of culture? All of this is very important to know. What are their prejudices? What are the prejudices of their family? Even though they may say, okay, I don't have those prejudices. My family, they this and that. A lot of times people, they try so much, especially in their 20s, to get away from how their mom and dad is. And sometimes the things they despise is the very person they end up becoming later on. So they have to work actively to overcome that, because it's instilled in their subconscious. If they heard certain comments about certain groups of people, they will still have to consciously work through that, because a lot of times, no matter how people, they want to be liberal and mix with other types of people and other walks of life, they're going to eventually still often fall back on the upbringing of what they heard when they were growing up. And it takes a lot of conscious effort to overcome the prejudices of one's family and upbringing and environment. What type of friends did they have when they were children, when they were teenagers, even as adults? What type of friends do they have now? That's another clue to know. Who are the people that they looked up to? Who were those that they admired and wanted to be like on career day at school? What type of teachers did they consider mentors? Who were and who is their favorite celebrities? What were their hobbies as a child? What are their hobbies now? What were their bad habits as a child? Did they wet the bed when they heard their parents arguing? Did they chew their nails? All of this gives clues to so much, to understanding people. What are their bad habits now? What are they willing to change? And also very important to know too, because a lot of people don't like revealing this to someone. What are the dumbest decisions they made once they left their parent or guardian's home and went off to college or became an adult? What are the dumbest decisions they made between age 18 to 24 years old? So if you are under that age, then you will say, okay, what are you going through right now? What are their biggest regrets? If they could take it back, they would take it back. What type of person did they make mistakes with? Now, they may not tell you all of this, but if you know this, this will give you a big understanding to who they are now and who they will become. Also knowing their elemental year. Say for instance, if they're born in the year 2000 or 2001, they may not be as compatible to someone who is born in 1987 or 1986. So mixing the energies and stuff, this will help you know. Not saying it won't work, but this just shows you where it's gonna take some extra effort to make it go correctly, because you will be with somebody. You could be in a relationship with somebody or friends with somebody, and y'all gonna have something on this chart between the two of you. Look at all this alchemy, different energy, yours and theirs. It's gonna be something on this chart that's incompatible. I think there is rarely such thing as you putting two people's birth charts together and everything just checks off with a green check. It's gonna be something on there that's challenging, because in the soul experience while we were born, when we meet up with people, these are people we've usually known for lifetimes. So there has to be some sort of plot twist in order to kind of shake things up, be some, have some challenges, because that's how we grow and evolve. So everything is not going to be 100% perfect. So don't get discouraged if it's everything else lines up, but then you all have a few bumps in the road here and there. It's just showing you what the potentials of what's going to go on and how to deal with them. So now if it's too many where it's squared, then you want to look at that as a red flag. But everybody's going to have something where it's like an X, this is checking, and then you got an X right here. So don't let that discourage you. Also, once again, their life pinnacle, their life phase. It is very important to understand that. So I have this little makeshift chart that I created. I had to think of some astrological signs that were more relatable to put together. So you have, let's say you have Tayana and you have Robert. Tayana is a Sagittarius rising. So when people talk about Tayana, they're probably going to be like, oh, well, she's friendly, she's open-minded, she's always reading a book, she's fun, she may have some wide hips, kind of a square jaw. She's a life of the party, but she likes to study a lot too. She goes to like these different yoga retreats, and sometimes she can put her foot in her mouth. She can say things and people take it the wrong way. So, rising sign. Whereas his rising sign might be Cancer. So people look at him all like, oh, okay, he's a good father. He's always around his children. Everything is about his children. He may have 10 different children from 10 different people, but he's always there with his children. He's a leader. He's a family person. He believes in tradition. He likes to be home more. He's very private. He doesn't let too many people in. To where if you look at their descendant sign, people are assuming that Tayana acts like a Sagittarius, when really she acts more like a Gemini. So she may be a little more silly than what people would take her for at first glance. She may be a little more fickle when it comes to being, on time, even though Sagittarius can sometimes have issues with being on time too. She may be a little more diplomatic in rather than putting her foot in her mouth when you meet her on a one-to-one basis and you get to know her better. With him being a Cancer, people will be like, okay, he's so nice and fatherly, paternal, he's a family person. But with Capricorn, they may not know that he likes to sneak off at night and, maybe he acts like an alcoholic, or maybe he has some sort of fetish. He goes to go see some type of women to see what their feet look like, or different things like that. You never know, because this is the rising, what people think of them, their reputation, where the descendant is kind of like their darker energy, how they're used to acting. This also goes in conjunction to North Node and South Node sort of energy. Okay, so Tayana is a sun sign Gemini, whereas, did I say Robert? What did I call it? Robert, let's say Robert. Robert is a Libra. So they're compatible here because they're both air signs. This one is a mutable air sign, Gemini. This one is a cardinal air sign. So this would be very good. This is their basic personality. So in general, they're going to get along. They may be viewed differently because of their rising sign and descendant sign by other people, but that's okay. They can get past that part in general. Whereas this one is going to be appear more of a homebody, and this one is going to appear more of a free spirit that likes to be gone a lot and socializing a lot, studying. Moon sign, they could both have moon sign Capricorn. So this can also give a hint to possible being either at least karmics, if not some sort of soulmate. And when I say soulmate, I don't just mean romantic. This could give you some sort of clue to that. With them having the same moon sign, they have to be careful of trauma bonding, because they could have had a situation where she had to grow up early in life and he had to grow up early in life. So they have this in common, like these soul wounds. They can relate to maybe having a difficult mother or a difficult environment. Maybe they were orphaned or raised by someone else. So they have to be careful of trauma bonding with one another, and also kind of not pushing each other to come out of that energy, because this can be more of a comfort zone to where they understand each other even without speaking. But who is going to heal that soul energy if they have the same moon sign? Not saying it cannot work, but it's going to have to take work for them to pull each other out of that comfort zone that they have settled in with the moon sign energy. With her being a Mercury and Gemini, how she communicates, she's going to talk more, whereas him being a Mercury Capricorn, he is going to hold things in more. And this is probably some bad examples I have set here, because usually The Mercury sign, if the person's sun sign is in Libra, their sun sign is going to often be in Libra, or it's going to be Scorpio or Virgo. It's going to be one of those close by signs. So usually you won't get somebody that's sun sign Libra with a Mercury Capricorn. That's not usual. So this is a bad example. Venus sign, her Venus could be in Gemini. For love, she could be in love with this man one day and then fall out of love and then be in love with this person the next day. It's like love can be a buffet to her. Hold on. Battery is going low. Okay, so I'm back. Battery issue. Let me hurry up and get through this. So her Venus is in Gemini, so she may be more sociable and communicative in love, more playful. Whereas his Venus is in Scorpio. She's a Gemini, but he might be more likely to fall in love with a Scorpio woman, a Scorpio energy. She's silly and playful in love as a Venus Gemini, whereas he may like somebody that's more serious, more quiet, more mysterious, doesn't talk too much, they don't conceal everything. So he may like a more dark, mysterious woman, and he may express his emotions kind of more dark and mysterious if his Venus is a Scorpio. So he may see her as a little childish with her Venus in Gemini to a degree. Also with the Sagittarius and sun sign, you know, whatever it is. So what else do we have here? Mars. His Mars sign, he has Venus in Scorpio and Mars in Scorpio. He's going to be sexually attracted and more likely to fall in love with a woman who's a Scorpio or who has Scorpio-like energy, or either water sign energy, Cancer, Pisces energy. So this person has all this air and earth in their chart. Something may be slightly off with this man wanting to stick and stay with this type of woman. With his Mars being in Scorpio, he's going to be more secretive, and her Mars is being in Taurus. She's going to be attracted more to more earthly type of men, more robust men, manly sort of men that like to fix the tires on the car, fix things in the house, acquire money, you know, more stable, you know. So that's what she's going to be attracted to, a man that likes to take her out to eat, to nice restaurants and things like that. With her Mars being in Taurus and his Mars being in Scorpio, they're going to butt heads a lot. Because the way she goes about things, he's going to see it as challenging his authority, because Taurus and Scorpio are opposite signs of one another. So this could be an issue right here too, and a slight turnoff, because he's already more attracted to Scorpio or water sign type mysterious women. So with her acting childish and playful, and his Mars being in Scorpio, hers being in Taurus, it's going to often be a butting of heads, a clash between the bull and the scorpion. At first glance, it's what could make them have a one-night stand sort of clash, because Taurus and Scorpio are very attracted to each other at first glance. But once those differences and how they go about doing things, their MO, when you see big differences in that, it's going to cause some friction between one of them. Saturn, her Saturn is in Libra, so she could have luck with a Libra man, but his Saturn, let's see, I'm sorry, I'm talking about Jupiter. Jupiter, she could have luck with a Libra man, because that's the type of energy that's good for her if her Jupiter is in Libra. His Jupiter is in Leo. He may have more luck with Leo season and with Leo type of people, Leo type of women, or women who can command attention, is what I'm trying to say. Then we have, once again, I said Saturn in Libra. His Saturn could be in Virgo. So his soul lessons will be more during Virgo season, dealing with service, health, work, things like that. He could be injuring himself a lot or at the job, different things like that. Her lessons will come through Libra. So her Jupiter and Saturn are in Libra. So what is her luck can also be her challenges in this life. Uranus and Scorpio, she may have erratic sort of things that she does. Maybe she has some sort of sexual epiphany. Maybe she decides she wants to go both ways, or maybe she decides she wants to be abstinent for 6 years, whatever it is. Uranus and Scorpio, this will be like how she expresses unusual things that just come out of the blue, revolutionary things, how she rebels. His Uranus being in Scorpio as well, this may be some sort of clue to how he acts as well. He could have some sort of fetishes, some sort of weird fetishes with Scorpio, Uranus, and Scorpio. Neptune, Sag, Neptune, Sag. So that will be a like. So I'm not going to get to, I don't really like, to be honest, I don't like talking about Uranus, Saturn, Neptune, Pluto. Those are not really my favorite planets to talk about. I'm kind of get fuzzy when I speak on them. Pluto in Libra would be the dark side. His Chiron being in Taurus, that's his soul injury. He could deal with, his family not taking him serious with the things he wants to do in his life, possibly disregarding him. Her Chiron could be in Taurus as well. Perhaps they're in the same generational field of each other. Maybe they're 2 to 4 years within the same age group. Okay, now let's get to my part I like to talk about. Life path numbers. Her life path could be a number 2. She could deal with indecision a lot. Sometimes it could feel like she's living a double life. She's very supportive and intuitive, and she doesn't mind taking the back seat in general. She may have 2 different streams of income. She may end up being someone's mistress. Number 2, she could be the second woman. She could be number 2, the second wife, possibly. His life path is number 9. He's going to be wrought with unexpected change in his life path. I hope y'all can see this. Okay, he's a life path number 9. She's a 2. With her, she's more romantic than him, possibly. She's more like, oh, I just want it to be just the 2 of us in the room. Whereas he wants to have his whole family over, and she just wants it to be her and him on the couch. But he got the whole family sitting in the living room. And she's like, okay, I hope they go home. I just want time with my baby all by myself. So this could be a problem. Number 9 life path, too, it deals often with betrayal, unexpected endings, and things such as that. Whereas she kind of straddles the fence more about certain things. His soul urge number could be number 1. Maybe he wants to be the boss. Maybe he wants to do his own thing. He don't want to do things in a group all the time, even though her life path number is number 2. Her soul urge number could be 6. So she wants to have a more domesticated lifestyle. She's more of a family woman. She wants to have peace in her home life, things she can be proud of. Whereas his soul urge number is more of a 1. So he's going to come off as more selfish to her, and that's going to frustrate her a little bit. If his personality number is a 10 and her personality number is a 6, she's the nurturer, the supporter, the sustainer, the family woman, then him being a 10, this could be attractive as a leader because that 0 is going to intensify the 1. So he's a number 1 personality, but he's going to want to do things on his own where she wants to do things as a family. So this is going to frustrate her a lot. She could end up being the type of wife that's always like, he's always gone. He's always secretive. He's always doing his own thing. And it can cause her to be insecure with a man with this sort of thing, with this sort of makeup in his chart. Let's see what else we have here. She may be going through a number 3 month. She may want to socialize more, whereas his monthly number could be 7. He wants to stay home more. So she's like, baby, let's go out. Let's go have fun. Let's go meet our friends. Let's have my sisters come over and let's do this now. Let's watch a movie. And then he's like, nah, not this month. I kind of want to spend time by myself. I'm looking at the game. I'm reading a book. Or, he wants to be more on his own on that month. So knowing this type of stuff can let you go, okay, this person, they're not going to want to go out as much this month because they're in the number 7 month. Or they could want to sneak out and want to go out, but maybe not with you. Because 7 can deal with avoidance, trying to get away. Time to yourself, spiritual introspection, all of that type of energy. Whereas 3 is more playful, it's more creative, it's more sociable, it's more cooperative. Where 7 is not really as cooperative. It's kind of like I'm going along to get along, but I really want to just do me. Her north node could be in Leo, so her soul, not soul urge, her destiny could be to be in the spotlight and to be more expressive, to where his north node could be in Virgo. His is more of service, not necessarily being in the spotlight. He could be behind the scenes. This could work, but these two are close to one another because Virgo comes right after Leo, so there could be some friction with that. Once again, we talked about personal year, I believe, her being in a 2. Okay, say for instance, she's in a personal year 2. That's going to be a year where she wants to get along with him. She wants romance. He's in a personal year number 5. He could be bored with her and not want to be bothered. He could be wanting to cause arguments. With her being in a personal year 2, she wants to get along. So she's trying to avoid arguments and conflict. She's happy and satisfied in a relationship. He's bored possibly with a number 5 year. He wants to go travel. He don't want to be up under her. So understanding this can, people say, oh, we had a rough patch in our marriage. Often that's a time period where their personal year or their personal month was in conflict with one another. And understanding that will help you kind of weather the storm a little more. Okay, I'm probably divulging too much at this point when I start to talk about Odu, which is a concept in Orisha tradition. It deals with clues to destiny, life path, and certain letters that come down with that person's soul. If she is someone who is Ogbe or Ogbebada, she could be someone that's good with money. She could be picky with the type of relationship she wants to deal with. She could possibly be attracted to someone that that people would consider less than she, like not a good person for her. She could be attracted to bad boys, and she could mess up other relationships due to being attracted to bad boys. But then when she's done with that, difficult relationship, she wants to come back, and then now she wants to be picky with people. His Odu could be Osai. Let's say Osai Meiji. He could be a person, especially with that 9 life path, he could be a person that has the potential to betray her, to be a traitor. And especially if she has an Odu such as OD, which also can deal with betrayal, it can deal with be careful of adultery. If she's the one being faithful, he's the one cheating, vice versa. It can deal with that potential in that sign. Not to get too deeply into that, just to give you a clue, because it is just as important as everything else. In Chinese astrology, she could be a wood rooster where he could be a metal snake. The rooster and snake are very compatible, but her being a wood rooster and him being a metal snake, metal chops wood, so he could make her feel overwhelmed. I don't know how much it cut off, but with her being a wood rooster and him being a metal snake, metal chops wood, so he could make her feel discombobulated sometimes. He can make her feel like she's not able to fully express herself or be seen or appreciated, or she could feel like he cuts down her dreams and her ideas, like, oh, that's nothing, and it makes her feel reduced to a certain degree. Her element number could be number 5, his number 1, so that's where they're gonna have their issues at. Once again, culture and upbringing. What type of mother did he have? What type of mother did she have? What type of father did he have? Was his father there? Was his father around? What type of father did she have? All of this is very important. So next up, I'm going to go ahead and close this video out. I know I said a mouthful. I'm going to talk about how to artfully love from a distance. If this chart is too much, where it's just too much to bear and it doesn't look like it's going to work out, or somebody seems like they're not going to be fulfilled, there's a way to love from a distance, whether it is a grandparent, a mother, father, sister, whoever it is. It's a way to keep them in your life, but keep them at a safe distance in order to avoid the conflicts in your natal charts. So I hope that I was speaking clearly enough. We have just come out of that Mercury energy, and I hope this shed some light. Comment, leave your comments in the comments box. If you have any questions or any epiphanies, feel free to share them in the comment box respectfully with one another, converse with one another. What are some times where you felt like, what are the times where you didn't know someone's astrological makeup and you went forward with the relationship? How did it end up going for you? Or what happened when you went against the grain and you said, I'm gonna do this anyway because love conquers all? Let me know in the description. Let me know in the comments box, okay? So be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Peace and bliss.